You can and you will get out of the state known as the dark night of the soul, right? I have been in that state for roughly 2 plus years, and I did absolutely everything to get out of that state. I tried meditation, I tried prayer, I tried psychoanalysis, I tried breathwork, did hypnosis, I did emotional trauma release, I did so much of things, right? I even did somatic practices, I did yoga, I did a lot, right? To get a way, to get to overcome it. I did so much to overcome that state known as the dark night of the soul. And the thing is, I never was able to get out of it while doing those practices. I never was, right? However, I learned something. I learned something while I was in that state that allowed me to overcome it, right? And it is the most critical thing that you can learn to get out of that period, to get from that depressive yet peaceful state that you're in, right? So I'll just give a little bit of a background about myself, a little bit of background about what I experienced in case that you can relate with it, right? I was, like I said before, in that state known as the dark night of the soul, or the boring night, or some may call it uh, a peaceful depression, right? I was in it for roughly 2 years, and it was one of the most painful periods of my life because deep underneath, right, in my very soul, I felt this deep sense of peace and contentness, right? However, externally, I was very null. I felt this extreme sense of nullification, right? I did. And it caused a lot of issues in my life, whether it be in my work, my personal relationships, or in with my studies, or just whatever you name it. I had that experience, that negative experience, and it completely and utterly destroyed my life for those 2 years because, in a sense, I was depressed, right? So I wasn't really doing anything. I was just laying on bed. Some days I didn't even have energy to get up. That's how terrible it was, right? But deep underneath, I felt such a longing sense of peace. It was like no matter what I did, what I do, I would still be okay, right? And at the time, I thought that was like, awakening. I was like awakened. I was being what some may call like a higher frequency. I'm just, in a sense, up there, up there, spiritually, of course. However, when I look back on it now, like after I escaped that period, that state, I realized that was not the case. Like, it was not the case at all. I was experiencing something completely different. And if you are watching this video, and if you are in this, if you are in that period, in that state, you might not realize it yet. But that peace that you're feeling is not really peace, right? It is extreme and subtle emotional suppression, right? That's what it is. That's what it is in a nutshell. It's not peace at all, right? And I will go more into depth, right, later. But for now, I just want to cover the baseline, like the background of everything. So then, what I talk about later, it all makes sense. I just want to build the foundation at the moment. So I was in that period, but the thing is, after like 2 years, I did manage to get out, right? And the solution was one of the most simple things, one of the most simple things that I could have possibly ever done, right? It's something that if you were to tell me, 2 years ago, I would have just laughed in your face because I was like, no way, it can't be that simple, right? I would have either laughed in your face or I would have not understand it because I would have completely misinterpret the solution and I would have done something completely different, right? So the solution that I'm recommending, it's something that a lot of people either they don't understand or they completely and utterly misinterpret, right? But if you were to understand this, then you're already there. You're just out. If you just understand the single concept, you're already out from that state, right? It's just instant. And I'm not even exaggerating. It's just that powerful. So the thing that I did to get out from the dark night of the soul, that terrible hell or peaceful hell, right, was to do absolutely nothing about it. Okay, now you're probably thinking, okay, you're telling me to do nothing about this state, right? And there's going to be two groups of people. The first group is going to be like, well, I already know that, right? I should not do anything about it. I should just be in peace because that's my true nature. I do nothing, blah, 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 all of that. And the second group of people, they won't understand that, right? They don't understand how doing nothing would contribute to that or that or that, right? So I'll explain. Right, I'll explain it in the most simple way possible. When I mean to do nothing, I don't mean it in the sense that you feel this deep sense of depression or nullification or suppression or whatever you want to put, however you want to label it. It's not that you feel that, so you do nothing to resolve it. That's not what I'm saying. But rather, what I am saying is, I feel this depression, I feel this nullification, and I do nothing. So you probably didn't get that on the first time, on the first listen. So I want you to listen again, but this time really listen, because there's a very subtle difference between what I said, right? It's either that you feel that depression and you do nothing to resolve it. That's incorrect. That's not what you should do. What you should do is you feel that depression and you are doing nothing, right? So basically, that's what you should do. The latter is what you should do. And the reason why the former is not what you should do is because in the former, you are feeling that depression and you are doing nothing to resolve it. So basically, you're doing something regarding something else in order to resolve something. That's not nothing, that's something, right? Basically, I'm doing XYZ, so I'll do XYZ to not do XYZ anymore. That's not nothing, that's something, right? And the latter, right? In the latter, I said, I'm feeling this depression and I'm doing nothing. So it's already pre-given that I'm doing nothing, right? Now, the latter, you might be thinking, okay, that might make sense. And some of you might still be confused. It's fine. It's okay to be confused. I'm going to explain it. The fridge just came on. Okay, just ignore that, right? You might be confused, but just hold on to that confusion for just a moment because I'm going to explain it more in depth, right? So I'm saying when you feel that depression, when you feel those belief structures, when you feel that internal schematic, whatever you want to say, and you are doing nothing, right? So nothing is already pre-given. But the thing is, that's not entirely 100% accurate, right? You can dive deeper into that. And once you dive deeper, you can come up with an even more accurate representation of what I'm trying to say. And which is, you feel that depression and nothing. You feel that depression, you feel that dark night of the soul, and nothing. And nothing. That's it. Remove the doing aspect. It's just nothing. But that's also still not 100% accurate, right? Once you dive deeper, it's just the deep. Once you dive deeper, you feel that deep, dark night of the soul. That's it. That's it. That's it. Forget about nothing. That's it, right? And you might be thinking, what I said makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. And the thing is, you are right. What I said makes absolutely no sense. And the reason is because I'm not suggesting a conscious solution for you, right? The problem that you are facing, deep dark night of the soul, it's not a conscious problem. It's an unconscious problem. Hence, it follows a non-linear pattern. It follows a non-linear pattern. It's simple as that. So you can't fix it using linear logic. You have to go about it in a very, very non-linear manner. That's why I said that's what gave such a convoluted solution. You might not understand it at the moment, but if you did somehow manage to understand it, then you're done. That's it, you're done, right? You're absolutely done. You have nothing else to worry about, because the problem is it's gone. And if you do not understand it, it's okay. Because when I say you who feel that deep dark night of the soul, you sense that, you perceive it, whatever it is, you feel that deep dark night of the soul, you perceive it, you do all of that. I'm pointing you towards a direction, right? Because the solution I'm saying, since it's non-linear, I cannot explain it with linear language. Like, English, it's a very linear form of, like, basically all language is like that, right? So the best I can do is point you towards the correct direction, right? That's the best I can do for you, right? So if you still do not understand it, right? If you still do not understand it, it's fine. It's fine to be confused. I was so confused. Just go towards that direction which I pointed at. You might not even understand what that direction is, but still go for it, even if you're confused. Because in that confusion, you will go to where you are supposed to go. Trust me, it always works. It always works like that, right? And you will, trust me on this. You will be able to find, you'll be able to understand what I'm talking about, right? It's just that the solution is so simple that like, if you told me this 2 years ago, I would not have understood it, right? The solution is, okay, I am in a period, I am in a state where I have this depression or peaceful depression. That's it. That's all you have to do. Nothing else, right? And it is a truly wonderful thing to be able to come to that, in a sense. So, actually, there's one more thing I have to say before ending this video and before sending you off. There's this quote. I think a lot of you already know it. Before enlightenment, you chop wood and touch grass. And then after enlightenment, you chop wood and touch grass. Absolutely nothing changes. I mean, something does change, but it's hard to explain. So the best that people can do in the spiritual traditions is to point you, right? So I'm pointing you at a very, very subtle pace. It's like, think of the last thing that you would want to do with regards to the problem. That's where it is. That's where the solution is. Like 9 times out of 10, that's where it is, right? So hope you found this video helpful. If you didn't, I completely understand, because I tried to make you even more confused than you probably are now. But trust me on this. You will have a fantastic time when you do eventually get it. And you will. It doesn't matter how long it takes. Once you understand it, you will have a blast. Trust me. So yeah, I wish you the best. And make sure to always, in a sense, don't beat yourself up about not understanding it or not being there yet, right? It's not your fault. It never is. So yeah, with that said, goodbye. I hope you have a fantastic day.